episode of Horror Talks with your host Adrian Anarchy.
Kevin Undead.
And Nathan Psycho.
And today our two subjects are going to be...
Does horror make good television?
And do horror movies transcend into good TV shows?
Alright, so... You guys seen any horror TV shows?
The only ones I've seen was Walking Dead and American Horror Story.
What'd you think?
I do like Walking Dead. I think that whole mix of zombies meets television series was a good idea since it came out straight out of the comic books, but I did not like Season 3. I thought Season 3 was weak. But overall, yes, it does make good television. Pretty entertaining.
What about you, Nathan?
I've seen quite a few television shows that kind of go into both categories we talk about. One of my personal favorites, which some people will argue that it's not horror, but I kind of think it is, Dexter. I feel like it's. I feel like it could be horror. I feel like it.
Actually, I agree. It could be like in a horror category.
It's more like a sort of slasher, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a serial killer who kills serial killers.
Yeah.
But it's my all-time favorite show, and it's horror, so, win-win. It's really sad that it's ending. Not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna cry at the ending. I'll probably, just be crying. If Dexter's crying in the ending, I'm gonna cry. I don't care how non-manly that makes me sound. I'm gonna be like, no, Dexter! I'm gonna lose it. But I've also seen American Horror Story, both seasons, Walking Dead, that Bates Motel show, which we'll get into later, an episode of Hannibal. I'm probably missing a couple, but off the top of my head, I can think of those shows. What do you guys think about the new shows coming out? There's the new Dracula, which is about pretty much the Bram Stoker novel character,
There's also
but a later time. Like
I've heard about Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, that looks pretty good, modern day.
I haven't even seen anything.
It's from what I saw from the trailer, it was a while ago, so I don't really remember. Somehow they bring Ichabod Crane back to life so because they had the detective. He's working with the detectives.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah. But, I mean, if Grimm can do fairy tale and detectives and it be kind of boring, I think we'll do good with this one.
Imagine they make it into like some sort of like CSI show or some shit, like,
As the sunglasses and everything. Looks like the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, back to the original question. Do I think horror makes good television? Yes, I do. I feel like it's somewhat better. I mean, I'll admit it's not scary. Like, I haven't seen a single show.
It's limited,
yeah.
to what they can do, like with the gore.
But to me, that gives them such a bigger chance. Like we talked about before, we think a lot of Hollywood movies mess up because they have a huge budget. Well, TV shows don't have a huge budget. So I think they have a better opportunity to prove themselves.
I kind of have to disagree with that because I did...
You. No, I'm just kidding.
Fuck you then, man. But I read up somewhere that actually Walking Dead, they get like $1.5 million for like a
That's
budget.
Walking Dead, though, I mean...
Well, that's...
Certain channels, I'll admit.
Certain shows.
Certain
yeah.
channels get bigger budgets. Like, I know AMC, HBO, Showtime. Those channels tend to get a large, I think, almost movie-like budget. I don't know.
Well, I think it also depends on how good the show is. If it's
Yeah.
good, I think it earns the money.
I'm sure any first season gets kind of a low budget. But,
Yeah, like
by
Walking Dead's
season...
already going into its fourth season already.
By season
you could
2,
probably see that
you
budget
have...
going up and more, like, as it's getting more successful.
There you go.
What do you guys think about the new TV shows, like Bates Motel?
I've never seen it.
Well, that goes into our second
Yeah,
topic.
you guys inform me.
That second topic, do horror movies transcend into making horror TV shows? Because, I mean, you got to realize they don't have the same budget that the movies had, and usually don't have the same actor. I haven't seen any of them that had the same actors.
Okay, I think of it. Psycho was kind of low budget.
Psycho was low budget, but you got to realize who was making it.
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock, one of the greatest names in thriller suspense history. And so you said you never saw the show. All right, it's more of a modern day setting, but instead of it being about Norman, it's really about his mom. It's his mom's still alive, and it's about she bought the hotel. Like the first episode, she gets raped in the hotel, and she kills someone now. She kills someone, so it's now known as the Rape Killer Motel in the town. It really kind of has nothing to do with the movie, to be honest, without excluding the names. Like, it's called the Bates Motel, that all the names are there. I mean, it's an okay twist. I mean, it's really kind of boring. I
The
mean,
thing I don't really like about it though is that it's just modernized. Like, why couldn't they go with the 1950s feel like when it first came out like that? Like I think
it could
that
be
would,
budget wise. You never know.
yeah. Like the first time when I saw the previews for it, when he busted out like an iPhone, I was like, what the hell is this?
And iPhones in the 50s.
Yeah. At first, that's what I thought. I was gonna be like in the 50s until I figured out like, oh, it's modernized.
Oh, and apparently he has a brother. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Norman has a
Okay,
brother.
this
Yeah.
this thing show went that way off proportion from the original movie.
Yeah. It's not like I said. It just bears the names, and apparently he loses his mind a little bit. Like he starts tripping out, like seeing things that aren't actually, like hearing things that aren't actually there, and apparently he blacks out and kills people. Like you find out. The series begins with the dad on the floor dead, and then they move.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers. I mean, yeah, a lot of spoilers in this episode. The dad's dead, and then later on, like by like the season finale, you find out that it was Norman who killed him. You know, the dad was always like beating the mom or something like that, and talking shit to Norman, and then Norman's just like fuck this, and he kills him. And they make it look like an accident. Norman comes to his senses, not knowing what happened, and then later on, one of the teachers in his class is trying to seduce him and shit or something like that. You know, you can see where it's going. Like she's not physically saying Norman, I want to fuck you, but you know where it's leading to. You know, they're at a dance, and then Norman gets his ass kicked, starts walking home, and the teacher picks him up and says, "No, you're dirty. Come to my house. I'll clean you." Yeah, it's really. And oh, by the way, the most awkward sex scene in this show, when he has sex with one of the girls, it's like completely under the blankets, but it's like they're in a fucking tent. Like it's like all they go into under the blanket, and then the fucking sheets like the whole room. It was weird, and like this weird slow motion and shit.
And then he starts getting like tweaked out and everything because like she rejected him afterwards.
Oh
like,
yeah.
She don't want nothing to do with him afterwards.
It was a booty call.
Yeah.
No, but and then he goes over to the teacher's house, and he's like looking in a mirror, watching her change, and then he kills her because like. His mom, throughout the show, his mom is like the one thing they got right. Wait for that helicopter to pass. It's a zombie apocalypse, you know. The helicopter's gotta make sure the area's.
Yeah, the outbreak is occurring as we speak.
Throughout the show, when Norman's trying to live a normal life, and his name is Norman. The mom's name is Norma. Yeah, so I mean, however you want to call it. And then the brother has like a completely off name from everything. I don't remember it. Throughout the thing, she's saying, "Oh no, girls are whores" and stuff like this. So he sees the teacher as a whore, and his mom probably, I guess, wouldn't want her alive or something, so he ends up killing her.
Yeah, because like there's some points in the show where like he hallucinates his mom talking to him like.
And she's actually
like,
not.
Yeah.
Oh, and it got really weird with the whole Asian prostitutes and shit.
Dude, I was like, where the hell is this going?
Apparently the city that the Bates Motel takes place in gets all their money from selling pot, first of all.
Yeah.
And the people, one of the sheriffs who dates the mom helped run an Asian prostitute sex thing. It was really weird.
They really modernized that.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the Bates Motel wasn't in the city. It was
Well,
like
no,
middle
it's
of
off to
nowhere.
it is. But like the closest town. Like they incorporated the town with the motel. Like they're separate, but like it's a small town, so everyone kind of knows each other.
I get it.
And then so yeah, I wouldn't recommend. I mean, give it a try if you want. You know, you might like it, you might not. Depends. If you heard us talk about it and you're like, oh, that's a show for me. Well,
Like
watch
if
it.
you're
By all
on the
means, go
modernized
watch it.
horror thing, yeah.
I mean, I don't mind that they tried to modernize it. I don't mind that they tried to do their own invention with how the series. Like, I'm not against like modernizing it and doing your own twist to it. But if you don't do it right and it's weird and it sucks, then I'm against that.
Yeah.
You know, we already got Psycho ruined once with Vince Vaughn. We don't need it ruined again.
Oh god, dude.
That was the worst
That was
remake I've
that
ever
was
seen.
just complete shit when I saw it.
And then the other show is Hannibal, based off Hannibal Lecter.
Another show I've never seen.
I saw
seen that one,
an episode, nothing more. I thought it was kind of interesting, and I say that loosely. From what I remember, one of the biggest detectives or whatever is working with Hannibal to solve murders or something. I don't know. I saw the first episode. There was a shot like of the guy, the detective, the main guy, puts himself in the situation of the crime and like recreates it with his mind with him being involved. I don't know. It was weird. I wasn't really interested in it. So, you know, we have excluding The Walking Dead because that's not really a movie. That's a comic book turned into a show, which, you know, they're doing their own thing. It's working. But as of, do horror movies transcend the good TV series?
So far.
So far, no. Yeah, so far, no. I do not think that. I think, you know, I don't even think they should continue making horror movies and the TV shows because they're just...
I think the reason they're doing this is because they saw American Horror Story and Walking Dead do so successful. They're like,
maybe we can do it too.
Pick a horror movie, make a show out of it. Maybe we'll do just as good.
Let's pick a big named original horror movie. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre the series.
Like prequel.
I see
like
that
how,
happening. And
I
I see
see
it
that.
failing.
Yeah,
like I mean, if you think about it, this isn't the first time it's happened. There's a Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Wasn't there only like one season?
Yeah, I actually saw it before. It was the worst thing ever. It was like Tales from the Crypt, but with Freddy as the host. Freddy is the host. He introduces the episodes and he's the outro to the episodes. Yeah. And each episode was a different story about... Some of them were about Freddy. Like, you know, Freddy would torment these kids. The first episode was about the trial. Like, it's the most in-depth I've ever seen of how Freddy became Freddy. But it was just terrible. I mean, they actually had Robert Englund, which was surprising. You know, he actually did the show. And then there was a Friday the 13th show, which had nothing to do with Jason at all. What?
That's news to me. I didn't know there was...
You didn't know that either? Yeah, so I mean, it's not like they're doing this for the first time. You know, they've done it before and it's failed miserably. So in my opinion, no, it doesn't. I mean, I feel like you just... Unless you can get the original people who worked on that project to do it. I mean, I'm not talking about actors. I'm talking about, like, writers and directors. Not even directors, writers. Get someone who write the same story or along the lines.
Yeah,
because
like,
it's
nothing
not
better comes from, like, one of the original creators of it.
Yeah. But in my opinion, horror makes good.
There was one more movie we didn't talk about that transcended into a TV show, which is Teen Wolf.
Fuck that.
Oh, dude.
That is garbage. That's like Twilight the series or something.
Seriously,
almost.
I mean,
It's terrible. Fuck that show.
I've seen the first episode and after that I'm like...
There's no Michael J. Fox or anything.
Yeah.
That was
It's complete shit.
There was a reason I wasn't mentioning that.
It's practically just eye candy. That's it.
It's like they took the werewolves from Twilight and they're like, let's make a show about them.
Yeah, make everybody hot.
Let's just name it.
Whoa, what are you trying to say, dude?
Chicks hot, dude. The chicks are hot in that
I haven't even
show.
I watched like 3 episodes and I'm like, I don't give a crap about this high schooler going through puberty. I really don't.
I remember watching
high school's overrated.
I remember watching
people.
the pilot and the first thing I said was the makeup was just awful. Oh god. They look like
They look like they put his
hairy
face
men
like
wearing fake teeth.
Yeah, all they do is change the teeth, they put a little fur right here and then their hands. That's it. It's the stupidest transformation.
Like it doesn't even look like a werewolf. It looks like he just grew facial hair. That's it.
Pretty much. Alright, so I kind of think that's going to put this episode to a wrap. So overall, we can conclude, horror does make good television.
It depends what it is.
Horror, in general, makes good television. Like, I mean, if you think about it, there's a... because we'll get to the other question, don't worry. But horror, in general, makes good television. I mean, you can get an anthology where, you know, it's a different episode each time, or a chronological series. So, like, you know, Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone, amazing thriller horror things, or, you know, different every time, it can tell a different story. So it's like little movies. You know, a movie can only tell one story for 2 hours, but a television show can say, like, 12 stories in a matter of a season, or 24 stories, however long the season is. So I do think horror makes good television. So we can conclude that. But horror movies, like, what you were saying, like, whatever context the horror is in, horror movies do not transcend a good horror series.
Depends also the writers, the directors, and like I said, the story is like how they're making the show go into. It just all depends on that, pretty much.
Final thoughts?
I'd agree with that. Not much to say about television.
Alright, and I think that will conclude this episode of Horror Talks. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. And we'll see you guys next time.